Hey Manjot, hope you're doing well. So here's a video that I promised to show you how to do two-dimensional arrays as well as how to loop through dictionaries. So, as you may already know, they're not actually called dictionaries in Java, they're called hash maps. So what we're going to need to do first is we're going to need to import the hash map from the Java utility library. So from import Java from the utilities, we're going to import the hash map, just like that. So let's take a look at doing the hash map first, how to loop through the different values and keys, which means first we're going to have to make a hash map. And so I'm going to make a hash map where the keys and the values are integers. So I'm going to create a new hash map, and I need to declare what the types of the keys and values are, because Java is a statically typed language, and so we have to tell it what the data type is. Also, these need to be object classes, so you can't use the primitives like int. Instead, we need to use the object analog, which is integer. So, integer, I can't go int. That's, actually, maybe it'll allow me. Let's find out. I don't think it will. No, doesn't like it. We have to use the object, which is capital integer. So, that is going to be a hash map or dictionary where the keys and the values are both integers. And I just call it dic for dictionary. Why not? And then we can do, this is going to be a new hash map, which contains integers for keys and values. And then call the constructor, like that. So that creates the thing, but it doesn't have anything in it. So I am going to make a for loop that is going to populate this thing with some stuff, and then we are going to loop again using a for loop to print all the stuff out. So I'm going to do a for loop. I'm going to say for integer I equals 0. Actually, we'll start at 1. And we'll continue as long as I is less than 10. And that should be a semicolon, not a comma. And we will increase I by 1 every time we go through the loop. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our dictionary and we're going to put I is going to be the key, and the value is going to be I times 111. You can kind of see what I'm going for down here. Just wanted to make sure that I had all of the code working before I made this video. So that is going to put in I as a key and I times 111 for the value. So that will populate our dictionary here. And now let's loop through it. And we're going to loop through the keys because that's usually the better way to do it. Because you can use the key to get the value, but you can't use the value to get the key. So I'm going to say for, why don't we just call, well, it's going to be integer. I'm going to call it the key. And we want to do it in dict dot, and we want to do the key set is what we want to loop through, which is the set of all the keys, basically. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to print out the key and the value. So system.out.println, and we are going to print, I'm going to do string, the string method. I'm going to get the value of, and I want the value of key, and I'm going to add comma, and I'm going to add, using the string method, value of, and we want the value of dict dot get, and then give it the key. And so this is how you can use the key to get the value. Just like that. So that prints out the key, and then this uses the key to get the corresponding value. and then we're printing that out as well. And so this should now create our dictionary populated, and this for loop right here will loop through our dictionary. So let's just run this, and boom. There we go. Exactly what we wanted. So that's how you can loop through dictionaries. Next, we need to see how to do the two-dimensional arrays, which are not bad. If you know how to do the one-dimensional ones, two-dimensional ones are almost the same. So there's two ways that we can construct them, and I'm gonna show you both ways. So both of them kind of start off the same. In order to say it's a two-dimensional array, we do two sets of square brackets. So every set of square brackets is one other dimension to this array. One set of square brackets is a one-dimensional array of integers. Two square brackets is a two-dimensional array of integers. And let's call this array 1. And this one we're not going to initialize with values. Instead, we're just going to initialize the based off of the size and shape of this array that we want to have. So I'm going to say this is a new integer array. But then I need to put inside of these square brackets how big each of the dimensions are. So I can say this is going to be a 10 by 10 array. It's not going to be filled with anything. There's nothing going to be in those spots in my array. It is empty. But I have told it that this array is going to have 10 wide, 10 deep. So that is what this is. We can also do it by declaring a new integer array like that. But we can instead give the values directly rather than just create an empty array that we then populate later. And so you can do it like this. I want to make a 3 by 3 array. And so I'm going to make an inner array that contains 1, 2, 3. And then the next one is going to be 4, 5, 6. And then the next one is going to be 7, 8, 9. Just like that. And that is also a perfectly valid way to create a two-dimensional array, where we're giving it the values directly. And we can access the elements in the two-dimensional arrays exactly the same way that we do in Python, by using the square brackets to identify the position that we want, giving it the to index, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, for example, we can do not print system.out.println, and what we'll do is let's print array 2. Let's get the second array, which means give it 1, and let's get the second element in that array. And so this should now print out 5, because the second array is this one, and the second element in the array is that one. There we go. There's our 5. We can also set the same way. So we can say array 1. Let's set the first element. So 0, 0. Let's set it to 1000. And now let's print that element and show that we get 1000. Boom. Just like that. So, that is basically all there is to two-dimensional arrays. Done a lot like how you do one-dimensional arrays, but this is how you declare them. And then you also need to give them their initial size or give them the default values right away. Key thing about working with these arrays is you can't change the size of them after you make them. Alright? So unlike lists in Python where we could append them and we can grow them and we can shrink them, can't do that in Java. These basic array types have a fixed size, so you have to know how big the array is when you're constructing it. Anyways, hopefully these answers those questions. If not, then we can discuss this further tomorrow morning. Alright? Have a good one.